live for 11 minutes, minimally 11 minutes. And our topic for today is, what will it take? What will it take? We're in a world that's so dynamic, the change, the transformation is happening so rapidly right now. In order for you to keep pace, in order for you to feel comfortable about what you're doing, in order for you to live the kind of life you want to live right now, what will it take? What are you going to have to do? What things do you need to sacrifice? What things do you need to set aside? What things do you need to prioritize in your life? And so we just want to talk about it for a couple of minutes. What will it take? So in this episode right here, I'm thinking about almost a year ago, we started the Savage Will podcast. And we're growing and we're learning and we're evolving. And I think every single one of you all that have been joining in, those of you that have been giving us comments, giving us good love, thank you, right? And so everything's been about preparation. Everything's been about perfecting. Everything's been about getting better at what you do, right? And that's what we're striving to do right now. Why? Because we're going deeper. We're going into a different place, a different space. We're going to come with richer content. We're going to come with dealing with stuff that you guys have on your mind, your hearts to talk about, because there's a lot going on in the world to talk about. But we took this whole year to explore what is it going to take. And it reminds me about something I'm getting ready to do right now. So walk with me for a second. So I have a nice backyard, and I'm going to get some landscaping stuff done to the backyard, some things I've been thinking about for a while. So I'm getting ready to go ahead and do it, make it happen, right? And so what I want to build is a vegetable box, and I want to build it so big. And what I'm going to do first is I'm going to build a foundation. When I build that foundation, I'm going to raise the foundation up to a certain height, approximately 2.5 feet. So I don't have to bend down so low when I'm doing my master garden, right? Notice I said master gardening because even if I have to research what I got to plant and follow specific instructions, I'm going to treat it like a master garden. I'm going to treat it like a novice. If I treat it like a novice, I'm going to get novice results. I'm going to treat it like a master gardener. I'm going to ask the Lord for a supernatural download and a green thumb to do what I got to do. First, I got to be the carpenter's master carpenter, right? So I'm going to get some help with that. But the box is going to be approximately 3 foot long and approximately 2 feet deep, almost like the Ark of the Covenant, right? Inside of it, I'm going to drop some twigs, some if I can find some leaves throughout AZ, so that base down so it creates its own compost, and it'll be able to feed naturally. So I had the privilege to talk about potatoes, right? Because I was with an elder, and she's been really blessed by the Lord. And we started talking about potatoes. She said, "What do you want to plant?" So I told her a little bit about what I'm going to do. What do you want to plant? So I'm going to plant some potatoes in one part. And I said, "Have you ever planted potatoes before?" She said, "Yeah." And then she had to explain how it worked. She said, "Just take 4 regular potatoes, right? Just get 4 potatoes out of the bag, 4 potatoes, and put them inside the dirt. Right? I got my compost down there, and I'm going to start putting some one to the topsoil. I want to go as organic as possible. And then I'm going to put the 4 potatoes in there." She said, "Leave the 4 potatoes in there. From the 4 potatoes, they can sprout up and start growing." She said, "About 4 potatoes, you got to make a total of 24 potatoes." So what you're going to find when you put them inside there, their root system is going to start to grow together. It's going to start to mesh together. And from that root system, as it meshes together, as it grows together, it's going to reproduce. It's going to continue to give you harvest. She said, the interesting thing about what you do is to make sure that whatever you do, you feed it. And when you water it, she said, do it at night. Let it soak in, right? So during the daylight, in the sun, you grow in all of the nutrients you grow in order to give life, sustain life, grow life. I thought that was very wise. Coming from a master gardener, she has tremendous success. She helps countries do get that growth. So I thought about that. It's like, wow, this is how being should love one another. We fulfill all the law of prophets and we love one another by all the and your mind. disciples indeed. We got love one for another, that's build up one another, encourage one another, support one another, be available for one another. Just everything about one another, right? So this potato's got it. This potato technology is doing it. And so this is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to build that box. And for half of that box, I'm going to do this, that, a little bit better than half the box. It's all going to be about things. The other half is going to be about some type of vegetable complementary to growth. I'm going to grow my own vegetables. I'm going to be responsible for it. I'm going to have to spend $5 to buy stuff like that. What will it take? It's going to take me some time to build the foundation in the box. To a neighbor or two that are carpenters that are very good at building foundation. So the key part is I build my foundation first. And then I'm going to get my box. I'm going to build my box up second. Then I'm going to put in the necessary ingredients third, so it can compost, break down. See, the thing about living as a human being, we believe that some things shouldn't break down. We believe that all things should remain new all the time. Some things need to break down. Something needs to dissolve out of your life in such a manner that it produces a nutrient. The nutrient is the wisdom, the knowledge, the understanding that you're going to gain from that experience. You need to let some things die out of your life. You need to let some things come to an end. You need to let some stuff expire. There's some nutrients in there, some life lessons in there that you're not gathering right now because you're spending so much time in your want, and your want is keeping you away from your goal, it's keeping you away from your growth, it's keeping you away from the nutrients you need right now in your life, not only to improve and sustain your life, but to make room for the areas where you need to grow. And not only grow, places where you can see where you need to connect with other groups. You need to connect with other believers. You need to connect with other love one another that can build you up and give you some wisdom, knowledge, and understanding about the part of your journey that you already are into. And if you don't compost properly, let some things dissolve and break down, you'll never fully get into that next phase of your journey. You can't get into the next phase of your journey. You're spending too much time holding on to what you have, and you spend too much time and holding on to what you have, watering your garden in the heat of the day. You see, you understand, when you water in the heat of the day, you know you're going to burn them roots up, right? You know you're going to grow shallow roots. They're going to stay near the top because that's where the water is. But as soon as you put that water down and it's hot, it's going to evaporate. So the water's not going to go deep. It's not going to have the opportunity to go deep. But if you allow it to happen at night, you allow for some things to go to sleep at night, become a nighttime experience for you in your life principally. Allow for it to happen at night, then it'll seep deep down in there. It'll give the nutrients, it'll give the moisture. It'll cause for the breakdown of all kinds of things, the proper utilization of light, photosynthesis, what have you, so that plant, that root system can grow. And the new roots that need to take place in your life, they can interconnect, they can start growing together, they can start feasting off the nutrients, but it has to happen in the dark. He said, man, you're talking crazy. So I'm not talking crazy because in the beginning, before there was light, my creator absolutely operated in ineffable darkness. That darkness, though, was light to him. But in order to express out something great, he had to come out of the comfort zone of what he was, the comfort zone of how he existed, and he had to let there be. The 10 statements that let there be, everything was created, but some light came. But everything grows in darkness. We see that by nature. Every single thing grows in darkness. When the baby is in the womb, it's conceived. Egg, zygote, everything starts to grow, manifests in darkness. Right? And from out of that darkness comes this baby, this wonderful creation that grows up and becomes an adult over time. Hopefully it gets to a place where it's adulting with its emotions, adulting with its thoughts, adulting in its logic, adulting in its wisdom, adulting. And becoming very intellectually sound. It has to learn from its parents, it has to learn from, or should learn from elders, it should learn from books, read, study, apply it. That's the type of dark season. But because it's meshing with other things, other human things, it's all coming together and meshing with other human beings, things coming together, it's allowed to connect. It's allowed to grow, it's allowed to produce. Everything grows in darkness. We get that. What we take. It's going to take for me, you, to get to that place, get out of our comfort zone, and create a new comfort zone. Let some things pass away out of our lives to get in a new comfort zone. to allow for some stuff to die off, some relationships to expire, what would it take? What does it take? It takes you living in a place of security and no longer feeding insecurity when you need to control everything, which means you're not really living, because if you control every single thing, you have to try to control people's conversations, you try to control people's actions, you try to parent an adult, you try to do things like that, then you're not living. You're afraid of living. You're trying to control everything under what you think is right. And so you don't give a lot of room for self-expression. And so something's going to die, something's going to be constrained, something's going to be constrained, and you're not going to get the full benefit of all that you're doing. You're going to feel smart. You're going to feel like you got control all over it, but you just have control. Doesn't mean you're growing anymore. It means that you have the power to wield some kind of control over somebody. Nothing's composting. Nothing's dissolved. Nothing's turning into a nutrient for sustainability. And there are things that are in your life that get out of your life that you don't have the opportunity to get out of your life because you're so controlling and keep it in your life. So you're not getting proper utilization of the proper utilization of life, and you're not getting proper growth as a result of it. What will it take? Peel me a grape. Peel me a grape. I'm hungry. I'm hungry. And I want you to peel me a grape. What I mean by that is I want you to teach me. I want you to really give me some wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. But to peel me a grape, I need you to pull back that skin, that layer that I use to protect that layer that I use to keep, and as it were, nutrients from coming in, or I'm still connected to the branch. Branches undergoing those types of changes and transformation, and being connected to that branch, I'm getting some nutrients from it, but I'm hungry now, and I want to be fed. In order to be fed, I want you to peel me a grape. So I need you to peel back the skin of what I need to peel back the skin of what I do, what I'm at, where I'm at. Because there's something inside of me that I need to allow to die. Somebody to feast off of it. When you peel me a grape, you peel off my layers. You peel off my understanding, the limitation of my understanding of how be it. When you peel those things off of my life, then what I'm able to share is something that can be fed to somebody else's life, be fed to somebody else's life, however small it may be. There's a nutrient that comes out of that thing, right? And that thing can be a blessing, a benefit to somebody's life. Even if it's one principle, it can be a benefit to somebody's life. So their soul becomes a quantum soul. It starts to be able to leap bounds, start to be able to manifest in all kinds of ways. But the key part is you got to allow for some things to die. You got to allow for some things to come to an end in your life. Even your life itself. You don't have to live forever. You can live a life, you can live a fruitful life, and you can actually live while you're alive. I said it again, you can actually live while you're alive. Some people, they're alive, but they're not living at all. They're not having fun, they're not having joy, they're not having vacations. They're afraid to spend their money, so therefore they don't make any more money because they put clamps on the money that they have. They put clamps on the money that they have instead of making it. So because they got scared money, they throw it away, or they put it in something and they don't get a return on their on the money. They don't get a return on their time. And as a result, they live in this little box of fear and security. Then they gather around themselves people that support their fears, but people that support their insecurity, people that do things to them because they live in fear and insecurity and live at all. They wonder why things are happening to them. Those kind of things have to become compost for your life. They have to become buried. You have to get some new, fresh, new soil. Instead, you gotta get rid of the old soil. I was moved by something, right? I had this gnat infestation. So I was taking all these chemicals, I was spraying the chemicals on the plant base and all this, and all of that killed gnats inside of this plant. But they just kept on growing, manifesting, and just moving all over the house. Like, what? Man, savage. They love moisture, so I'm feeding my plants at night, and I shoot it with waters. So that the day that you utilize everything that's been fed to the water to put like the whole 9 yards, and it can start growing because it gets light. Turn that light, didn't stop or impede both of my plants. What it did do, because I had gnats that infested, they love to push it, they love to grow in dark. I had to do something different than just put chemicals on there to try to kill that gnat infestation. You know what I had to do? I had to kill the soil, and get rid of the soil that the plant was grown in. And there's a risk. Take those plants out, I have to be very delicate, very gentle with the root. Many people would have been afraid to repot the plant and remove all the dirt, wash it off, because they believed it would kill the plant. But it's depending on how you handle that plant, how aggressive you are, and what you do with that root base. And so when I took those plants out, I took them out to the side of my house, and I rolled the pot for those. Other guys had tilted. When I tilted it, start to fall out. When they started to fall out, wow, I saw all of these gnats in that plant. There's thousands and thousands and thousands, just ready to be a nuisance in my house. And so I started to wash it off. But I went up with some new topsoil. And they got me a little different compost. The compost didn't come from the soil that I just washed the gnat larvae off into. No, it didn't come from that. It came from another place. But I had to put some fresh new compost down in there so I could give nutrients to the plant. And just looking at all this, I'm like, wow, even our lives, no matter how scripted we try to make our lives, no matter how much control we try to take over our lives, sometimes we get an infestation of some sort that's annoying. And what it was showing me was that at times in our lives, I have to unpot myself. I got to get unhinged. I got to get out of the pot. The pot that I'm in, although it might be the right size, has the effect as disease. There's something that's going to annoy me. It's going to affect how my investment is perceived. Because what's growing out of it, or what's growing inside of it, alongside of the beauty, is something that's annoying. So I've got to go ahead and make sure my pot gets empty. Somebody needs to empty a pot. Your own pot. Not to empty my pot of stuff that pertains to something in my past, that pertains to the annoyance that's moving simultaneously with the beauty that I am. But I have to be courageous enough that I have to go in, and I've got to trust the gentleness of my moment to unpot. Not only to unpot, but to make sure I'm going to keep the roots right. Root is my base. And in the process, if I have to lose some roots, that's okay too. Because I still got my tap root and I still have other roots that go out, and I have to trust what I'm doing in this process. But I got to get the annoyance out of my life. If I never change the soil of my life, if I never unpot to repot and do something greater, if I never fertilize on top of that and put in fresh topsoil that already has fresh nutrients already built in, I can never grow any more than where I'm at in a particular pot. That pot could be the right size, but I'm not getting the maximum return on the size of that pot. And so instead of buying another pot, I need to get the maximum return on that pot. And so to do that, sometimes I need to go ahead and clear out the soil, repot with fresh new type of compost that doesn't attract annoyance. Put those roots carefully back in there while I'm putting new topsoil on top of it. Make sure I put another surface layer so the water can evaporate out quickly. So I continuously water. If I continuously water a plant, it never gives the plant the opportunity to utilize the water, to utilize the nutrients. So if it works, for every time the start to turn around, start to fertilizer, some more stuff at it, it's going to do its own process to become strong. And sometimes that means some leaves are going to brown up and some leaves need to fall off. Even nature teaches us some things need to just die off. When I let those things happen, then I see fresh roots, I see fresh growth coming off of other areas of the plant. What was on there that looked good for that season needed to die off. That pot of soil that was there before, it served its purpose. Now we need some new soil in order to grow. I have After all, they got infected with disease. And it attracted gnats that are become annoyance. So its beauty was marred simply because of annoyance took root along with its roots. The Savage Will today, you got to check your pot. For you to have that quantum soul to grow, become something greater than what you're supposed to be, what you're living right now, you got to unpot. You got to get all that old soil out of your life. Sometimes you got to change where you are. Sometimes, all the time, you got to change what you think. All the time, you got to brush your face. And then you got to learn how to keep yourself different. Don't keep on watering in the daylight, in the sunlight. Your roots are down. It's heat. With a proper heat, you dry, you die. You know, from Home Depot, you have connections with the creator who made it possible for you to have a connection with God. You can't revive. You're just going to be a dead thing. But when you have life, like Home Depot, like God, the Holy Spirit operating in your life, even if something does die off, you can take it back. You see the notice, you got ready. The transaction has been made. Go ahead and all I want to do is say, guys, sometimes you take trust that you got to change your soil. You got to change your things. You got to be careful. Something that's soft. Sometimes you got to change it altogether. Sometimes you see some stuff in there, some fungus, some mold, some other things in there that's killing you too. You got to get the fungus and the mold of your life out. What are you doing? What aren't you doing? What will it take for you to do what you need to do? What does it take for you to discipline yourself so you can do the things you have to do so you can get out of insecurity and get into a place of security where you challenge yourself to change, where you challenge yourself to change your soul, you challenge yourself to learn how to feed yourself so you get the proper nutrients in the daylight. You grow strong and beautiful. People can look at you and admire you. And they admire you not because of your ego, because of your mindset, or the ego because of how you talk about it. But they admire you because of your beauty and your mindset. Your mindset has changed from trying to control yourself, the past. Hold on and cleave to stuff that no longer brings you any value, any net worth. You allow it to go. You allow it to die. So the real you can live. Hey, you're evolving. And if you trust the fact that you're evolving, you trust the fact that your greatest contribution is ahead of you right now. But so soil. Learn how to water yourself at night. Rest on. Let it feed you. Let it give you nutrients. Get some fresh compost. In other words, some people, some seasons expire in your life. Put a new base in there, new relationships, people that's more progressive, people that have your best interests at heart, people that, because you're living in security, I'll be able to shake, they support you, secure person. They support more vibrant you. And they're on your team, they know you, you're going to a greater place. Instead of people that support you in the confidence of the place, step place and insecure place. It's time for change. April 28th, Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Facebook, 8 Continent, Global Faith Connection. Connect in that. Join us. Change your mind. Change the direction. Go to a better person. You want some answers? Everything that's going on in your life, to some moves you need to make. That's going to be a night. It's going to be a game. Friday, April 28th, 2023, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be there. Your life will be changed. Your soil, you'll have fresh new soil. Some of the old roots that that are dead and withered, that are sucking energy out your life. Places where you need to be pruned so you can grow, they'll get clipped. Compost that's necessary to go in the base of your new pot or the old, you'll get it. You understand why that has to die off in order to feed you. But you need to check it out. You need to be with us on that day, Friday. Next Friday, April 28th, 2023, 7 p.m. Be there. What would it take? Change. What would it take? Change the company. Change the place that you live. Change the way people perceive you. What does it take? Change your direction. Stop going down the same alleyway that you've been using company. It's going to take, we call it in faith, we call it repentance. Some people think that's a harsh word. What that means is, that means receive forgiveness. It means receive tremendous love. And it means with deep, dark, deep sense of remorse, you don't want to go back to what you know, what you used to do. You don't want to. Hey, that will. Time is up. I appreciate you guys. Pass this over to somebody else. Get this thing in. Subscribe. YouTube. Spotify. Join us right here on Facebook. I dig you guys, man. And listen, you guys are free to share, man. Free to put comments up. Free to let us know if it's been something that you appreciate that did some good for you. If it did some good for you, pass it on. God bless every one of you all. Don't forget, write it down. Go out to Facebook, group page, 8 Country, Global Faith. Get dialed in. Join the group. Be ready for next Friday, April 28th, 2023. Change your mind. Change your direction. It's going to be a game changer. God bless everyone. I appreciate y'all, man.